Hey everybody, my name is MetalMusicMan!
And I'm Professor Lex.
And this is episode 55 of the Metal and Lex podcast. Pew, 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 pew.
I wanted to see if you'd do it or how you're... I'm comparing and contrasting air horn noises. So I had listened through to a few of our old podcasts. So I was trying to see if I was developing a unique air horn voice. And I need... It's at the point now where I need like external understanding in order to properly look at myself.
You need
so
to
you're
do your research. Well, those are more like lasers. Pew, 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 pew.
Right? Pew. So if you did do an air horn noise, it would be like... Yeah, very goose-like compared to how I do it.
It's a goose horn. My air horn is highly territorial and aggressive. If you get too close to my air horn, it will bite your toes. And if you kick my air horn, you'll get fined. Even though my air horn bit your toes first.
Dude, that should be always the case. So we live near a river, and
as do I.
They're geese, and the geese like walk by the street. They cross the street, and I can't help but feel that is incredibly cute. I know that they're vicious, mean bastards.
No, I actually like geese. I actually like them, even though they are vicious, mean bastards. They're kind of like my cat.
They'll just kill you.
You just gotta be in the right.
You gotta give them sniffs.
Yeah,
You gotta stick your hand out to the geese, let them get a whiff of you, and after enough sniffs, then eventually, Will claims you can pet a goose.
That's true. I have pet a goose before.
Much like with his cat, I do not recommend petting a goose, even if Will says that you could.
Remember last time you were over and we were playing Smash and she was like rubbing up on the back of your head while we were in the middle of the set and you were laughing, but it also sounded like you were crying and terrified at the same time? That was so funny and cute. It was the best. I enjoyed that immensely. I think I also Ganon dared you in the middle of that and took a free
You
stock.
did.
Yeah.
You did. I missed the tech. I just zoomed straight up.
You had things, important things going on in real life, like your life potentially ending.
Yeah, I'm trying not to die.
So anyway, yeah, it's a Sunday. We normally do these on either Friday night or Saturday morning. A little more increasingly towards Saturday morning recently. But I was like, I don't want to do that. So here we are on Sunday.
You needed a spa day.
Yeah, I feel like I need another spa day already. I need a spa day for today. I have all these plans of things.
Do you have to physically go to work tomorrow?
Why wouldn't I? Is it a holiday?
No, it's not a holiday, but it's still COVID. So I don't know. You could be off.
No, I gotta go and sit in my office and sit
not
there.
me. This is my alternating work from home week.
Okay.
So I'll be at home doing very important business.
So you're still doing that? I didn't realize.
Yeah.
Pretty cool.
Well, yeah, they only just now decided to roll out vaccinations to us. So I had my first one like a week ago. I forget how time works. I felt just awful after I got my shot. Do you feel bad?
No, I didn't. I felt totally fine.
More privilege.
I feel like more. Yeah, it's my superior white genes. What can I say?
No, it's not that. They made the vaccine for white people without considering the ramifications.
So it's more. It's okay.
Systemic.
Okay, yeah. I got you. Well, I guess I'll rein in the Nazisms. But the fine. I'll be a little less Reiki this podcast, but only today. Okay. All right.
Thank you. I've earned it.
Next time I'm goose stepping
Doubling
in the intro.
Jesus. I did not expect you to bring it back to geese. Good for you, man. Good for you.
Oh man. So anyway, yeah, no, I didn't feel bad. I guess I felt a little bad like immediately, but I feel like that's just anxiety.
Or was that just dread?
Yeah, anytime like something happens that could like maybe weird me out in some way, and I'm not weirded out, and I'm like, I won't get weirded out. I won't. And then I don't like feel weirded out, but then I immediately feel like some sort of physical nausea. I'm just like, that's not a real nausea. That's like some mental dumb shit where I'm worried I'm going to die. And then eventually they called my number and they were like, okay, it's been 15 minutes. How do you feel? And I lied and I was like, I feel fine, because I knew it was just dumb.
I am good.
It was dumb brain bullshit. And then I left and everything was fine and I ate a cheeseburger and I completely forgot I ever felt weird. But that's like, I feel like I just ignore that.
That's not how that, or at least that's not my experience.
Yeah, no, I was like, everything was totally fine after that. I'm almost positive it was all just like brain thoughts making me weird.
My arm was sore as shit. but
well,
I got,
okay, my
like,
arm was sore. I mean,
well, yeah,
not as sore as
but
shit, but sorer than like a cold shot. Yeah.
sore. Well, they had to go through so much muscle to get down and do it.
Yeah,
for
because you
me.
got all that
Yeah.
muscle on you. Me,
Yeah.
easy peasy. It's like it was
Yeah.
like it was like stabbing a leaf.
In and out.
Yeah.
Stabbing who?
Stabbing a leaf.
Yeah,
It's like a leaf. It's just a little, just straight through. It actually went out the other side of my leaf arm. Yeah.
No, I felt like super tired and sleepy like the day after and the day after that. I assume it was the shot's fault. I can't prove it, but I was wrung out. I did not enjoy that part.
Yeah, no, I didn't have
I heard.
that. I think I had
heard from
like
other
a
people.
nap, but that's not that different. I heard some people
Well,
have, way more adverse side effects than others, but I didn't notice any.
I heard from someone that they had the best sleep they'd had since like before having kids, and they had kids like 15 years ago.
That just sounds like someone who experienced reproduction and their life was shit for like over a decade. And then they were like, it was so beautiful. It was so beautiful. It's the best thing I ever did with my life. And then they were like,
we're grateful for the sleep that they got.
Yeah,
from the shot.
I just hope I'm never that person. I hope I'm never that person.
Dude, one day your biological clock is going to just start a ticking, and you're going to be baby crazy.
Can I just tell you how fucking glad I am that I am no longer surrounded by people who say fucking stupid ass bullshit like that in my life? I can't tell you how many fucking dumbass fucking family reunion-y whatever fucking things where people be like, no, man, someday you'll see. You don't know. Someday you'll see. You're just going to wake up. It'll happen. And they're so sure. And you're just like, you don't have the words at that point in your life when you're like young 20s and you haven't really like experienced like the average. I mean, you've experienced the stupidity of the average person your whole life, but you haven't really like codified it to be like, I know what this is now. You're just kind of like vaguely trying to exist. You're at like shitty Easter. Like, you're not really thinking too much about the world, and then someone comes in and says some dumb fucking bullshit to you. I wish I could, like, teleport back in time and, like...
You want to send your consciousness back. You want to do a time leap. I see.
Yeah, and I just want to say, like, the fucking, like, most I want to just be like, oh, actually, I'm, like, in a gay three-way with, like, with a furry... I just want to say like that to like one of my weird aunts or uncles that say some dumb fucking shit to me about like reproducing. Like, actually, this is my non-binary goose boyfriend, or whatever, or goose them friend. Excuse me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go.
And I just want to lay that on them and just like fucking deuces, just like walk out of the fucking Easter party.
Are you gonna leave them with your goose friend?
Fuck you, Grandma and Grandpa. I'm glad you're dead.
Wow.
So bye forever. I don't fucking miss. I don't fucking miss those dealings with my extended family at all.
Let me rephrase that. What if instead I came to you and I was like, Will, oh thank God you're in your right frame of mind now, but when the biological clock starts ticking and you feel it, you'll experience the sudden change, and the worst part of it is that you'll embrace it when it happens.
I mean, that's
what if
scarier.
it were like a dread?
That's
yeah.
scarier.
What if it were dread instead of like, one day I'll understand.
Fat dumb face, but I mean,
Well, I'm not going to do that because I don't think that's going to happen for you.
No,
but
no
what
signs.
if it didn't? We're scary.
There's not a 0%. Like, I'm not like absolutely not. I'll never have children ever. But I mean, it's like mostly absolutely not. I'll never have children. Like I'm not saying there isn't. I just can't imagine though someone like, oh man, I love this person so much. I want to put them through the trauma and body horror of growing my alien sperm baby inside while it parasitically steals all of their food and blood and makes them fucking bloated and slow and then when it finally comes out and rips them open from the inside out, they'll have hours of agony while my spawn creeps forth from their womb. And they'll have to get fucking stitched up. Like, oh yeah, man. Like, I can't think of anything.
I like you that much.
I can't think of anything that signifies my love for someone more than that. Anyway, clip that and send it to your fucking grandparents when they ask you why you don't have fucking babies yet.
Every grandparent
hats off to fucking any woman who's ever reproduced. Like, goddamn.
Well, yeah.
And by hats off, I mean, you fucking terrify me. What's wrong with you? Why would you ever want to go through that? I can't imagine that. The thing happened.
That's the horror that I was telling you
about. Clock? No, that's not real.
No.
Get out of here.
You're misunderstanding.
Alex,
I'm not saying that their biological imperative told them to do it.
Way too sexist of a podcast. How dare you? Ring that in. Look, man, it was okay when I was Nazi goose stepping, but I can't believe
but you draw
the hatred that you have for.
No, I mean, like what if that's part of the horror again? Like, what if I told you Will, where you're a woman in this universe?
Call me Wilhelmina.
Wilhelmina, you don't understand. When it happens, when it comes for you, you'll be willing to go through this horrific transformation of destruction and carnage, and from you something will crawl out, and you'll be like, yeah, that's what I wanted to have happen.
That's scary. Yeah. God,
see,
why do people reproduce?
The concept of birth is just
why do people reproduce?
Too spooky for me.
I'm not a fan.
Thank God I don't have to physically do it.
Can you imagine if you gave birth to like a little pee baby out of your pee hole as a man? You just wouldn't that be so much more efficient if we were like fish? And the dude,
I don't know.
And the dude just was like boop, little like caviar, like you, and then you. Oh man, that'd be so great because you could shit out. You could shit out of your pee dick hole. You could shit out like fucking 100,000 babies, and you could like eat some of them because they'd be caviar, little people caviars. You could just eat them.
I don't want
and
that.
Then whatever ones you wanted to keep, whatever ones you wanted to keep, you could just keep them. But no, I mean, come on, man. And then there'd probably be like weird religious groups that were like, it's not okay to eat your caviar penis babies after X months. And then some would be like, it's never okay to eat your caviar penis babies. And then you'd have to like live in a state that allowed you to eat your caviar penis babies. Like otherwise, or you'd have to drive to a state.
Because you can't ban it. The only thing you can do is make it harder.
Jesus is very anti-caviar penis baby eating. All right. Jesus believes all caviar penis babies are sacred. But what Jesus doesn't understand is that we would be overpopulating the earth in a matter of like a few decades.
Yeah.
You know, like you can't have that. So anyway, my point is, get an abortion. They're really cool. They're really cool. Everyone's doing it.
Will.
This is one of those podcasts where no one would believe that I wasn't drunk, but I assure you, it is 9 or 10 in the morning.
Too early.
I am drinking
Your
some
eyes
coffee.
are wide open.
Yeah, man, I'm good. This is my second cup of coffee. I've solved the mysteries of the universe. Well, anyway, Alex is going to talk to us about a new Melty Blood game today.
Man, okay.
Best segue ever. Go.
Back in 2006-ish, maybe it was earlier than that, like 2002. Anyway, Tsukihime is an old visual novel. It's very old. If you look at the original Tsukihime, you can see in the art how old it is. I've talked about Tsukihime.
You can tell by the old pixels.
The podcast.
Yes, you have. Yeah. As a reminder to anyone who may or may not have heard that episode, it's somebody fucks someone with peanut butter and jelly.
Yeah, so Kinoko Nasu is a phenomenal world builder and very bad at writing sex scenes, and everything's like, I slid my sausage into the sweetest of jams, and
the jams are her vagina.
Yeah. I don't know if I'm supposed to be like horny or hungry, and the answer is largely neither. But if I had to pick, hungry.
You are both. You are both no longer hungry and no longer horny. It had the opposite effect in both realms.
On both. So. Like, yet and despite the fact that the original Tsukihime had such bad sex scenes, I'd still say it's worth playing. Maybe don't make that your first visual novel, but like, it's good. The story's really good. And then he said, I've got a bunch of other ideas. Basically, I just have to remake it. The game's too old. I discovered that if I don't put sex scenes in my games, they sell better. So I'm going to remake Tsukihime, and I'm going to put in all this side story stuff that I alluded to before. So there's a character who gets bitten by a vampire, and then you have to put her down. It's super sad, but she was originally supposed to be like one of the main protagonists, and it got cut for time. Anyway, they said in 2008, we're not going to make we're gonna make a nude Tsukihime game. We're gonna remake it. And if you didn't know, it's 2021, so that was a while ago. It was like 13 years ago.
Indeed.
So Melty Blood is we call it a doujin fighting game. It's not quite a fan game. It's an anime fighter made by people who like the source material. So
it's not like an official thing?
I don't think it was at first, but then it became an official thing because they brought Kinoko Nasu, the writer for Tsukihime, in to write the story for Melty Blood.
Interesting.
If you look back, like the original stuff, or like I think even up to React, the game, you could see shades of what would ultimately be Melty Blood in it, but they made some sort of amateurish mistakes.
What the fuck is React, Alex?
Melty Blood React. They all have dumb names. Melty Blood React.
Okay, so it was Melty Blood at that time, though. Still, you said
it was Melty Blood. It wasn't an official, like, licensed.
That's so weird. I did not know that. So this is like if someone made a Mugen game and then like a company decided to actually like go with it.
Kind of.
I did
very loosely.
That's new. That's news to me. I had not heard that.
The early stuff was kind of fucked up. You could accidentally infinite people by just mashing down and jab in the corner.
How's that different from any other anime versus fighter?
Because anime versus fighters are good.
Nope, it's too late. Too late. I win. Whatever. They're all the same. Get out of here. 10 points for Will. Get fucked, Alex.
So, what's it called? They kept making games. So it was Melty Blood React, Melty Blood Act Cadenza, Melty Blood Actress Again, Current Code.
I remember hearing Actress Again.
Last one. Yeah, Actress Again came out on the PS2. I think it came out around like 2009 or so. It had an arcade port, and then they moved it to the PlayStation 2. But that was like the last time that we saw it. Melty Blood at this point has a totally established fiction universe that borrows a lot from the original Tsukihime story. It's phrased sort of like a sequel, and it was semi-canon in that it was at least the nearest thing that we had to a sequel to Tsukihime, since they apparently were just never going to give us the remake that they were alluding to. They started making a new Melty Blood game back in like 2013 or so. At which point they said, "No, wait, we can't,"
because reasons.
Nasu said, "Don't make another Melty Blood until we've put out a new Tsukihime. Don't do it. Don't do it."
You definitely said new Tsukihime and not nude Tsukihime, right?
Correct.
Okay, that's good.
Because again, as I said,
they
would be cutting the sexual content from it.
They tend to sell better to the children.
Apparently. And to adults. I honestly don't need to read another Kinoko Nasu sex scene.
I think you do. I think you should actually read an entire one on this podcast.
You want me to do it like, I was going to say like an audiobook for the podcast?
100%, yeah.
Okay, I'll see what I can do for you.
Okay.
You have to M-rate it. Anyway, surprising us all, because I had given up hope on a Tsukihime HD and thus a new Melty Blood. Surprising everyone, at the end of last year, they announced that they were going to be releasing a new Tsukihime this summer, which is like way sooner than anyone had anticipated.
Yes.
And then it's March. Less than a week ago, they announced there's going to be a new Melty Blood. So I
saw that on Twitter.
Random, yeah.
How random.
Melty Blood Act Lumina. So for those of you very deeply concerned with the lore of Melty Blood, I think that this is going to be like a new incarnation. I don't think it's a sequel. I think that this is going to be like a sister story to the new Tsukihime. So they're using a lot of the.
I can't unhear you saying nude Tsukihime every single time. I don't know if that's just wishful thinking on my part.
It is.
Yeah.
If you need to look up some Rule 34, I'm sure it's
sound off in the comments. Does it sound like Alex is saying nude Tsukihime to everyone? Because I'm pretty sure that's not just me. I think, Alex, that is a Freudian slip on your part.
You
need some jam in your life, baby.
To 2008, when I was sitting there seeing anime titties and hearing about food.
Yes.
The wistful days of yore.
The days of days past when we could simply just think about some anime titties and not be judged. Wait a minute, that was never a thing. That was never a thing.
You basically can't tell people about anime titties. They'll judge you pretty harshly, I found. You can't even like mention animated titties in passing.
Is this like to your coworkers?
Hey James, how's it going? How are you managing the mainframe? Oh, that's good. Anyway, I saw some new anime titties this weekend.
Yeah,
nice.
they were.
What did you do?
Dude, I had like a weird existential thought. I think it was yesterday. I was like scrolling through my timeline on Twitter, and there was some like hot anime pseudo porn that someone had tweeted or some shit. And I was like, man, that's some boner inducing stuff. And then like I immediately I just immediately went into I didn't immediately nut, but I immediately went into post nut clarity, and I was like, man, you really can just like trigger someone's mental things by just like having some lines. This is just lines. There's lines, man. But I wanted to fuck those lines. I wanted to put my penis in those lines. That's wild. Like, we really are just fickle, manipulative creatures, or manipulatable. Excuse me. Not manipulative. Well, I guess they can both, depending on what side you're looking at. But anyway.
I mean, I assumed that the porn, the anime titties you were looking at, gawking at, were drawn by a human. Now, when we get to the point where we've taught robots, we finished teaching them chess, we finally got them to understand Go. If we can teach robots to generate anime titties, then the world is done.
I mean, I really do look forward to a future where I can just strap on my VR thing and then like literally strap a thing onto my dick and just turn myself into a crazy Matrix battery of orgasms and pleasure. Like that I mean, I think a lot of people look at that and they're like, "Oh man, how depressing."
Degenerate shit.
But like, yeah. I don't know, sounds pretty cool to me. Like, I'll be the mouse that just presses the fucking orgasm button. You know about that experiment where they just press the orgasm button till they die? Like if they just wire some shit into the mouse brain, and it's like here's the food button and here's the orgasm button. Which one do you want to press? And the mouse just goes orgasm, 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 and then the mouse dies of starvation. The mouse is like, God damn, a cheeseburger would be great. I feel like I'm gonna die. Orgasm, 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 orgasm. I mean, I don't know, man. That seems like a pretty good way to go. Like when I'm 80 years old and a fucking useless bag of bones, just hook me up.
That's how we're gonna
hook me up to the Orgasmatron 5000 and fucking send me home, dude. I'll just fucking jizz myself to death, baby. He died. He died as he lived, worthlessly accomplishing nothing and jizzing into a void all alone. I'd
like to point out that again, the new Tsukihime is going to be relatively porn-free, I suspect.
Oh, what's the point of that, Alex?
Melty Blood was never about the titties. It was
Definitely
about the footsies.
Oh, yes, absolutely.
Dude, I was talking about... Do
people even know what Melty Blood is? Do we even describe... It's a fighting game. Surprise!
Melty Blood's a fighting game.
It's a big, dumb fighting game.
You got incepted. It's not dumb. It's honestly one of the best fighting games I've played. I owe Melty Blood a great deal to both how I enjoy and how I play fighting games.
Oh, so that's why you're all fucked up.
Basically.
Okay.
So I used to watch Willvolution. Shout outs to Willvolution, Florida, I think, whatever. He had this scene. He was the I'm gonna say he was the Karasa for the Gekito Ninja Tyson scene in Florida.
Karasa is a local St. Louis fighting game legend who used to host a lot of tournaments and played many games and is a very nice man named Jeff.
He is all of our dads.
He is everyone's dad. And you're saying that is the Karasa of this game, which also
Correct.
People don't know about, which is some Naruto game of stupidity. Dumb Naruto game. Yes,
Naruto fighting game.
Yeah, that's the one you played with me, and you were like, "Look how dumb this shit is, isn't it great?" And I was like, "No."
Well, okay. What's interesting is that there's no low block in the game, so it is a game exclusively about block pressure and whiff punishing, very much like Smash. Your shield when you block can be broken, and when you get shield broken, you lose all of your meter and get stunned. So you're open to just like a free punish. It's kind of like earning a shield poke, except a 3D fighting game.
Alex, that game was nothing like Smash Bros. We played that game.
It's basically exactly Smash Bros.
Absolutely not remotely anything like Smash.
It's because you need to play Wolf in Gekko Ninja Tyson 4 to really understand the fundamentals
That
of the game.
game was just like jumping around and fucking doing random specials, and then you were like, look, I'm gonna play who's the hot wind
Tamari.
sand lady? Yeah, you're like, I'm gonna play Tamari. God, dude, Tamari. Who is not shipping Tamari, by the way? These motherfuckers. Tamari did not get enough screen time in Naruto, dude.
Oh, she really does deserve.
Tamari is like the only. Is she the only female character in all of Naruto that isn't just shit on by shitty Japanese woman anime stereotypes? I feel like every other fucking character in that anime is just like, I'm a helpless girl.
Do you remember the flute chick whose name I think starts with a T? She was one of the
spider lady. She was a spider lady from Orochimaru's troops, and she had a flute, and she transformed into a weird spider thing, didn't she?
She did not transform into a spider. You're thinking of Kidomaru, the spider guy.
Oh yeah, but he's one of her friends, right? So I'm not
Correct.
crazy. Okay, yes, she transformed into something else, but also had a flute. Yes, flute puppets.
Yeah, she was also, I think, relatively cutting edge.
Yeah,
but she died immediately, and we never saw her again.
Right,
so yeah,
which is why she
like
wasn't. But yeah, so Tamari is like the only good character that.
Oh, how about Tsunade and Anko?
Tsunade is pretty borderline. There are things about her that are cool and good, and then other times they're like, she's really old and makes herself look young. Isn't that dumb? Ha 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 ha. Like, and it's just like, it's so like that's like 2A problem street. Where it's like, they're like, it's dumb that she wants to look pretty. Ha ha ha, women. And then it's also like dumb that they even care too. And it's just like,
she's old.
It's like, yeah, it's so bad on like multiple levels. Like, I don't know. There is some good stuff with her. I'm not going to say she's all bad, but like, yeah, Naruto is, it's a pretty cool show, but god damn, it's got some fucking, it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. But it's got some awful
better anime.
I didn't say it was fucking groundbreaking. I just said it was a pretty cool show.
You said it's the greatest show. It's better than Berserk.
It has some.
That's what you just said with your mouth.
Oh man, I watched. There was a tweet. I think hats off to Level 40 Raichu for liking this tweet and putting it on my timeline. And it was like Berserk fans when the finale of Berserk is just Guts and Griffith having gay sex for 10 hours, and they were all like high-fiving each other, and I was like, yeah, that would be pretty cool. And then someone was like, no, it's Guts and Berserk having a bi three-way with Casca, and then parenthetically it was like consensually, and I was like, that checks all the boxes. That checks all the boxes. like, yes, I would love that. Anyway, apparently that manga's never going to end, and everyone hates it, and it's like the awful Game of Thrones of anime manga where like the dude will never finish it, and it's just going to have some awful ending that everyone hates. So that's why I'll never read it, and I'll only have ever seen Berserk 1997 because it's the only one that's worth watching, because I've watched 5 seconds of the other Berserks and they're awful. But anyway, yeah, what were we talking about? Women, anime, things? Yeah.
Women in anime, how Tamari was cool. I picked Tamari, and then I did her jump B.
Yeah, all you did was do the same move over and over again, and you were like, isn't this neat? And I was like, no, this is the fucking most awful game I've ever played. And
when I said, isn't this neat, I meant, don't you dislike it, but I'm having fun.
Oh, I know.
Okay.
Your taste is still awful.
We understand each other when I say
it. Yes.
When I say, damn, that was a neat Bayonetta combo I just did. What I meant was
you actually like that. You get out of here. That you can't convince me of.
It's two parts. You're not having fun, and I am.
I guess.
Yeah.
Man.
No, so Melty Blood, to give you sort of a feel of what it's like, they invented reverse beats.
I don't even know what a reverse beat is, Alex.
In general, when you play an anime fighter or a lot of versus games, you can chain moves from light to heavy. So you can chain a jab into a medium, and you can chain a medium into a strong, or a medium into a fierce.
Yeah, your standard advancing chain ABC.
Yeah.
Starting low being A, mid being B, high being C, and you can chain up from lights to heavies.
You're familiar with the alphabet. So in
LMH.
Melty Blood,
light, medium, hard.
Say again?
LMH, light, medium, hard.
Yeah. So in Melty Blood, instead, they give you the opportunity to chain backwards. So you can throw out your long-reaching, hard-hitting, heavy move, and then on block, you can press A. And so that would make your light button whiff, which is less recovery than letting them block your heavy move. So the game becomes about whiff punishing. They also do a funny thing with cross-ups where cross-ups in the air are harder to get.
Can I talk to you about how much I hate what you just said before you go on? So you were like, oh, the game becomes about whiff punishing because you do your hard, and that would have had more recovery, so you do the light. And that's what makes the game about whiff punishing. I hate you so much. That doesn't make any fucking sense. The game would already be about whiff punishing if it was about the hard, because the hard would be more whiff punishable. It makes the game fucking less about whiff punishing because you can cancel your fucking recovery into a less whiff punishable move. Die in a fire, you're the worst. All your opinions are bad and wrong. What's wrong with you?
Hold on for a second. How dare you? I probably didn't explain this correctly because you're just wrong. If someone throws out a heavy, in Melty Blood rules, you can cancel that on block or on hit into light, right?
Yeah.
So answer me this, and this is the hard part. This is the trick question. If I threw out my heavy and you blocked it and I whiff a 2A, did I or did I not whiff my heavy?
Well, okay, yeah, you can still whiff punish the heavy in the traditional sense, but it's very stupid that you can't force them to block that and then punish it. That isn't in itself a whiff punish, which is where you're going and feeling very sly about.
No. So
but that is part of that.
When you wiggle back in footsie range or like do something to move out of the way to force their move to whiff, that's a whiff punish.
Yes, so you're still going to whiff punish the same way in that sense, but like a core part of the whiff punishing system is also blocking an unsafe move when they were trying to do the same thing to you. So like you do that you don't always punish reuse sweep with a whiff punish while you're jockeying for whiff punishes. You might want to block it, which is why they don't let him cancel sweep into fireball anymore, because it was fucking stupid as shit. So like now you can punish that. So I mean, okay, yes. That is technically still a whiff punish, but it does make the game a lot less traditionally like built around that system. If when you block the unsafe move, they just get to cancel it and then you can't punish them.
If you do like heavy and then cancel into crouching light, that isn't plus.
Yeah, but it's not punishable.
So it's usually not a good punish that you can get, but you can usually get like spacing, whether you want to go back or forwards in, kind of like foxtrotting. I've learned what foxtrotting is.
Hey, you've been making some progress in Smash, Alex. How about that? You've been trotting around like a madman. Good for you.
Right.
Good for you.
So like if someone does their heavy and then cancels it into a whiffed crouching light, then you get like a foxtrot sort of mix up. Whether you want to go in and say, I've got the frames, I may press more buttons.
You have enough frames to dash and take positioning, but not enough frames to punish them, per se. Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. I know it's not what you're looking for.
It makes sense.
But, so the new Melty Blood, I don't know how weird and different it's going to be. We've had Undernight. Undernight was the game that they were developing that was going to be the new Melty Blood HD. But when Nasu told them, hey, guys, don't make that the thing that you want to make it, they said, fine, we'll just make a new game. And it was Undernight in Birth.
Yes.
Yes, that's them. That's French bread.
Everybody plays that plays Melty Blood.
Yes. They're kissing cousins, Melty Blood and Undernight. They're technically related. A lot of the concepts that I was talking about in Melty Blood about the whiff punishing are just like the core ideas of Undernight, and they make that a little bit more complicated by adding the grid system, which gets you certain advantages based on whether you move forwards or backwards or block stuff.
Is that weird dumb fucking thing at the bottom that's like you? Yep. Oh god, I hate that so much.
I know you hate it, but it's. If you ever wanted to understand fighting games in like 2 seconds, there's a resource that explains what fighting games are.
No, it doesn't. It confuses the shit out of everyone. I will drive to your house and punch you straight in the asshole for saying that. Like, get out of here. That is the fucking most anime fucking bullshit propagating. What, that fucking bar that confuses everyone and makes everyone look at the screen and go, I don't know what that is, and then quit? You think that makes them understand fighting games better?
There's a lot of
Absolutely
people who didn't
not.
do that thing that you just described yourself doing. I think you're having some Dunning-Kruger here, Will.
No, I think you're having the Dunning-Kruger pretty hard. Dude, fucking nobody plays these games. The only people who fucking think that are the fucking tiny subset of people.
Thousands of people who play them.
The fucking teeny weeny insignificant nothingness of people who play. Nobody plays those fucking games.
Everything is insignificant compared to the scale of something like League of Legends.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so like, what difference does it make if I'm playing fucking Street Fighter or Melty Blood?
The difference it makes is that you're saying that this allows people who don't understand this game to understand it better, when in fact that is total horseshit, and the only people who understand that are people who already like the game, which is Dunning-Kruger, like, period. The only people who get it are the people who already get it, and then they assume that that's easier for people, but they don't understand that it actually makes no fucking sense to anyone. One
or two of us is having a Dunning-Kruger moment here, Will, and I'm just gonna say I'm either in good company or it's not me.
Your assessment would be that I'm on the lower end of the Dunning-Kruger, but that's wrong. That's not how that works. Because Alex, if that was true, I would be overrating. I would be overrating my skill if that was what was true. I would be assuming I knew more about it than I do, but I don't.
Do you know a lot about fighting games?
Yes.
Oh, well. Do tell.
But that you're saying, like, if that were true, I'd be like, oh, I understand everything about Melty Blood, but I don't. I don't understand it because it's confusing as fuck, and that's my point.
Okay.
That's my point. Is like, no one looks at that and thinks, yes, this will help me understand. Nobody thinks that.
Try in the future looking at it and saying to yourself, this could help me understand.
Oh my God.
Just change the emphasis.
No,
and then
Alex,
I think you're going to have a better time.
Okay. I feel like there's a fucking dumb bar at the bottom of the screen, and you walk in and out, and it gets bigger or smaller, and it has a beat timer where you're supposed to do a thing when it moves.
Okay, so
is that Melty Blood or Under Night or both? I don't even remember which fucking game has it. It's like things pulse.
No, it's just
there's a timer. You're supposed to do things at a certain time or something. Or
Melty Blood's meter system. If you're playing on certain moons, don't think about what that means.
I just watching your face while you were like, "Oh my God, I just spoke the moons into existence," and just shitting all over your own position. Oh no, So when your bar fills up in Melty Blood, when you get to 100% meter, then it activates heat mode, and that's not what I'm talking about. Okay,
but like you'll be in max mode, and then you can heat or whatever, and that trails down. So you get up to 300% bar, that puts you in max, and then a timer drains down and puts you at 200 bar.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what maybe you're conflating with the grid system.
No, isn't the grid one the one where you each like jockey over a thing?
Yeah. So when you go forwards, you get grid. When you go backwards, you lose grid, and also you get grid when you block things. So you're rewarded for blocking things correctly. If someone's like sitting there just doing a bunch of block strings and you're blocking everything correctly, then you get the resource. The game has said you've been good at fighting games. Good work blocking all of those things. And then you say, thank you, I will use X Factor now.
That is so oversimplified for what this shit is. Can I find a picture of this? Or a GIF? Melty
of the grid?
Melty
no, stop.
Blood
Under Night.
Grid.
Under Night Grid. GRD.
Grid. GRD?
I think.
Yeah, no, I remember this shit. It has like a fucking ping pong mechanic or something, doesn't it? Some stupid fucking
ping pong mechanic.
Isn't it like yeah, there's like a circle. Yes.
The circle is the timer. That is the confusing
Don't you gaslight
part.
me. There's a dumb fucking weird, there's a stupid fucking circle that counts down. And it's like, if you do a thing when it counts down, you get
whoever
more.
Has the most grid.
Yeah, like everybody, like you win and it just cycles the whole game. It's like, and then you said some dumb shit to me like, oh no, once you get used to the rhythm of the game, it'll make sense. Well, it never did. It always felt awful and confusing. And I always felt like it was random dumb shit.
Crazy. Are you admitting to not having rhythm?
We already know there's only one dance I can do, all right? And it has to do with geese.
I thought you were going to say the cha-cha slide. I didn't know we're going back to goose step.
We're going back to Nazi jokes because who doesn't like those. Yeah, I hate this system. I hate it. It's awful.
That's okay. You don't have to like it. It's not going to be in the new Melty Blood, which you'll play with
Thank
me.
God. It's one of the dumbest things I've ever seen in a game. Like, literally.
Well,
It's awful. It's so...
Well.
It's like, let's take a genre of video games that is already
Mhm.
confusing and alienating to newcomers and put, like, a fucking arbitrary circle that pulses at the bottom that, like... No, it's just awful. It'd be like if you decided that you could make Street Fighter more approachable to people who weren't familiar with it by also forcing the players to fucking play like Tetris during the game. While it was like no, every time you do a hard kick, that causes an L block to fall, and when you walk back, then it turns the L block. But if you walk forward, it drops a new block. Like, what? Why would that ever make anything easier for anyone to understand?
I think
you're insane if you think that makes the game is easier. You're literally insane. There's no that does not. That is the most overcomplicated tertiary layer of bullshit I have ever seen anyone put into a video game.
But if you understood it, then you'd be able to understand fighting games.
I guess if I just knew how to fucking yo-yo and play basketball at the same time, maybe it would make sense to me that this game makes me want to yo-yo and basketball at the same time. Callback jokes. Anyway, there's a new Melty Blood game coming out, and Alex is going to make me play it, and I'm going to have a good time. I'm going to
I'm going to love it. I look at the character designs. Did you see the tweet?
No. I mean,
Okay.
I saw it, and I think I liked that it said new Melty Blood, but I didn't look at anything in it.
They look cool.
Show me.
I like the art.
Tell me about a character in that game. Do you know about gameplay design at all for it, or is it just like...
We've only got like 4 screenshots. I can tell you what I imagine is going to be the case, and it's all in Japanese. I know that they talked about a new system mechanic, but I can't read it, so I don't know what it is or says.
Okay, so we don't know enough. Do we have a release date yet?
This year, it's 2021, and it's releasing worldwide.
So before the end of the year.
Yes.
Okay.
If I had to bet, I'd say it'll probably come out after Tsukihime, which is due out this summer.
Okay, so like late this year.
Yeah, probably
fall, winter, maybe.
I
will play that game with you for 1 hour.
Yeah. Whatever.
We will see how it goes.
Shiki in years past has been the character I think that you would understand. And
I believe that is the one you had me play. He is a boy with a knife. He's just like a little dude man, and he's got a knife for reasons.
Yeah, well, he's got a knife because he's got the mystic eyes of death perception, which allow him to see the lines upon which all things live. And if he traces those lines with a knife or his finger or whatever, but the knife is handy, then whatever it is will die. And he can do this to not just people or animals or whatever, but also concepts.
Concepts.
Mm-hmm. The only case of him not being able to kill something by drawing his fingers or a knife on it is when Arcuid achieved the Blood Moon, because the concept of Arcuid was beyond death at that point. So of course there were no lines to see.
Of course.
So you're getting it. I can see the understanding on your face. So that's why, and he wears glasses. Alco, the AKA Blue, Alco gave him glasses to help mitigate his ability to see the lines because they were giving him brain damage.
If only he could trace the lines of his own brain damage.
Yeah, but then you'd have to see his own eyes, which, as we all know, is impossible.
Of course. Don't be ridiculous.
The eye can't see itself. Yeah, don't. Well, play Tsuki.
Alex.
No, you got other visual novels that you should play instead.
Yes, Steins Gate still.
You're gonna do it, man. I believe in you.
Someday. You'll never finish Pillars, you piece of shit.
All right, man. When I beat you, when I finish Pillars before you finish, then we'll see who's gonna laugh.
You like barely got through the tutorial, if memory serves. You like did tutorial things and then just fucking fucked off forever. You were like, "There's so much world, I can't pick a direction to walk."
Overwhelming, Will.
I don't get it. I don't get it. Don't you ever like? Don't you have a thing like that's really interesting like. How you said the word overwhelm there. So there are things that I do get overwhelmed by, like having things on my calendar. Like today I have a bunch of things to do and I fucking hate it. But like if you're in the middle of a giant field and the game is like, go wherever you want,
fuck that.
And you feel overwhelmed, okay?
Yeah.
But don't you just like go, okay, well, since I can go anywhere, it doesn't really matter where I go, and I'll just arbitrarily go a place.
And then I log off. No, see
what is like why? See, like, because that's to me when I get to that point. If I'm like that kind of overwhelmed, I just pick something. It's just totally arbitrary. I'm just like, all right, well, and I just go and I just make. I just make a decision.
Will.
Never.
Everything that I do has science.
Does that give you
every action I've ever taken? Is it because
of the crippling anxiety that it bestows upon you, or are you just like? Do you not know how to make an arbitrary decision? Do you just not want to? Or are you scared of the the consequences? Like what is? Lay that out for me. Is it like peeing in public?
It's much like peeing in public. I didn't tell the internet any of my horrible horror stories about peeing in public this last week. But
you want to tell them one? Maybe it'll help us understand your lack of ability to make decisions.
Yeah, I'll do that to buy some time. So I went to the bathroom on the second floor, right? And there is this homeless dude in the bathroom charging his flip phone at the sink. And when I walked in, he said, "Hey, how's it going?" And that probably didn't make it into the microphone because what he was saying was so high pitched.
I did hear it.
And breathy.
I did hear it. Yes.
Okay. And I was like, "I'm fine. How are you?" And he's like, "Doing fine." And he just continued to charge his phone. And I was like, "I can't right now." So I went to the bathroom, and you know, you've gone to the bathroom before.
I have.
I whipped out and I began to urinate. And he's like, "How are you doing today?" And I was like,
you were literally standing there with your dick in your hands.
Yeah. I think what happens is I'm at my most vulnerable. You know, when your dog turns and looks at you while they're out in the yard pooping, and they look at you to like, please make sure that I don't die.
Yes.
Yeah. I don't have someone to turn to look to while I'm going to the bathroom to make sure. So I've been relying on public decency and that common understanding that I shouldn't be talked to with my dick in my hands.
I don't understand that. I will always speak to you while you pee if you're in my vicinity. I just want you to know that. I
won't respond. I'll freeze up.
I'm going to help you. I'm going to help you break through.
Desensitize.
Okay? Yeah.
It triggers a fight or flight, right?
I understand your words, but when you say right, it makes it sound like you think that I understand it, and I don't. Why would peeing and hearing someone speak?
Why would someone talk to me while I'm peeing?
That's neither here nor there. Why would you feel fight or flight? Is it like do you think they're gonna murder you on some level? Are they gonna see your pee-pee?
And I'll just stand there with my dick in my hands. So of course it triggers this fight or flight response, and I can't run away because I'm midstream, and I can't fight because I'm holding my penis.
Oh, I understand now. You have a weak urethra. It all makes sense now. This is like when I'm walking down the street and I have to explain to you that most other humans like this is like the level of scaredness, right? So like a normal woman walking around has to be worried about a much larger percentage of people potentially murdering her because testosterone.
Women are the only.
I have to be worried about far less people than the general genderisms here, but I would generally be worried about far less people because I have a smidgen of testosterone, but I have to be worried about far more people murdering me than you do because you have a good chunk of testosterone and the muscles. Most people would not be able to beat you up. So this is similar. See, I've never been in this position. I have a very muscly urethra, Alex. I can stop any flow, no problem. Easy peasy. All right. You got a little baby ass urethra. You never work out your urethra. Your urethra's fucking sitting there.
Skip urethra day.
Your urethra is fucking playing video games and eating pizza and going to Dairy Queen. My urethra's in the fucking gym, bitch. My urethra could fucking beat the shit. I could take on 10 other urethras at once. All right. So if a guy walks up behind me and he's like, "Hey, I'm going to murder you," I've just got to be worried about actually dying. But I know I'm going to stop my stream, no problem. Because my urethra is so strong. Okay. So this is, we gotta get you doing some kegels, bitch. You don't ever go pee and just see if you can stop your stream just to work out your urethra just for the fun of it. That's not a thing.
Do that.
Well, that makes you better at things, Alex. That's a good sexercise.
Will, hold on. I have a question.
All right.
Would you rather fight one Alex-sized urethra or 10 Will-sized urethra-sized Wills?
I think one Alex-sized urethra is probably less scary than 10 of me being very small, because I'd have to like murder my clones, and like, since you're saying I'd be fighting them, I'd be beating them up, I'd probably kill them because they're so small, and like the real loss there would be I'd never get to have sex with all 10 of myself, you know, like because I'd be so busy fighting them, I'd probably accidentally kill them. So that would like be a lot of extra mental anguish, right? I'd be like, oh my God, I murdered 10 urethra-sized me's, and I never even asked them to climb inside my ass and hit my fucking bingo switch. You know what I mean? Like that, what a lost opportunity that would have been, right? Whereas if there was a U-size, this is the easiest question to answer of all time. If there was a U-sized urethra, I would just be like, oh my God, a big, horrible flesh demon, and I would kill that shit, no problem. And I'd never want to have sex with it, because it would just be a giant, horrible flesh demon.
That's all you think about? That's the litmus test of whether or not you can fight something, is whether you want to have sex with it or them?
I mean, that's always on the table. But I mean, anytime, any situation, I don't understand how anyone could ever be put in a situation where they're like, you're walking around and a clone of you appears, and one of the first things they think about is not, me and the clone would both stop, we'd think for a brief second, and we'd both be like, all right,
my place or yours?
Yep, we would know. Not me. Man, I know, we had this talk. You would not fuck the shit out of yourself, and this baffles me to no end. What if there were 10 urethra-sized versions of yourself, and they were all really strong, right? Like they had cut their strings.
I don't want to do urethra ups. I don't want to do urethra curls.
You don't do any kegels. You don't do any
while I'm at the gym.
No, like, man, come on, man, you gotta get good at the penis tricks. They make you good at the sex things.
Penis tricks.
Never. So that's like you have a weak. You got a little baby ass weak urethra, and you have anxiety about not being able to stop your stream. Alex, I could stop any stream. I could have had beers all day. I could have never peed, and you could come in the bathroom and watch me pee and be like, Will, there's no way you could stop that stream. And before you fucking finish the sentence, I would have stopped the stream and been holding it in. I would have been staring at you in the face, and you would be so emasculated by the sight of my normal-sized penis that was way too urethral strong. You wouldn't know what to do. You wouldn't know what to do, Alex. Anyway, do your penis push-ups, kids. It's very important.
Hold on.
Very important.
I just got a text from Jen, who is in the house and apparently can hear me, and I'm confident she can't hear you. She just sent me a text message saying, quote, Will is 100% right about sex fighting. So, I'm glad we can put the debate to rest. I'm glad we've had an external source that has only heard my argument, that knows still that I'm wrong.
That's good. She's her head's in the right place. I trust her. I like the cut of her jib. Well, anyway, that's about an hour's worth of content, Alex. Unless you have anything else about Melty Blood to say, I think we're pretty much done here. This has been the best podcast we've done in a long time. Yeah, get fucked up. Alex has a weak urethra.
It's a fact.
Yep.
It's
fucking
a fact of life.
God, man, I gotta help you with your reps. You know, Alex, just do me a favor. Just next time you're peeing, just try, Alex.
It hurts. I don't like to do that.
Yeah, but much like working out in real life, when you feel that pain is your future gains, Alex. It's your future penis gains. Okay. Well, I have been MetalMusicMan.
I've been Professor Lex.
And we will pee you guys next time. Bye, everybody.